Today is Tuesday, November 26th. Thanksgiving is a couple days away. The Black Friday sales are happening, and we've had a lot of people reach out on social media, here on YouTube, as well as through our customer service, asking for some guidance on how to gift the right knife to the right person. So I am going to do my absolute best as I flail around a bunch of blades to break down the different categories of knives that I have put together here based off of your budget, based off of the person you're looking to get the knife for. And I'm gonna do this focusing on primarily chef's knives, so traditional Western style, or Gyuto, which is a Japanese chef's knife. I'm also going to share the second best, well, depending on the person, maybe the first best additional or other type of knife to get someone for a gift, which would be a prep knife or a utility knife. You just can't go wrong with a chef's or a utility for anyone that you're looking to get a knife for. And then I also have the miscellaneous. We're going to spend a little bit of time on that. Slicers, Chinese cleavers, serrated bread knives, and those are for people you know very well. You know what they want, you know what they need, or you know what they're really into cooking, and you can surprise them with something that's a little bit more specialized. So there's not going to be a lot of frills and thrills and close-ups. It's going to be me and one other camera. I've got my cheat sheets here. A little disclaimer, all of the prices are subject to change. You know, there's a lot of things on sale right now. It depends on when you see this video. Everything that I have here is going to be linked below, unless it's something we don't have in stock anymore. That may happen. So what are the categories? We've got the culinary school student slash someone who is just getting really into cooking. And it doesn't matter if they're 18 or 80, and this is also the most budget-friendly category. Then we have people who are chefs. They're proficient home cooks. They've been at it for a while. You know that they already have knives, and you just want to get them something a little bit nicer. A little bit more expensive as well. Then we've got you've got a ton of money, they've got a ton of money or a ton of knives, and you just want to get them something fancy and make their jaw drop, okay? They're the three main categories here, and then the utility knives and the specialty knives are just going to fall somewhere in there depending on how you see the best knife to get for them. We're going hard edits with this one because I'm not scripted or anything. We're flowing. Okay, so let's get started with the culinary school student, someone that's younger, just getting into cooking, someone who moved out for the first time and now they're on their own and realize that you can't get DoorDash every night. I mean, you can, but it gets expensive. Or you have someone that could be in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and all of a sudden they just started really getting into cooking. Like my dad just loves it now. He loves knives too. Who would have thought? First knife is the Yaxell Hana. This is a Japanese blade. This is more traditional Japanese in the sense of the style and the feel. It's very lightweight. It's only 66 bucks. It's a great gift to give someone, like I said, if they're just getting started cooking, a culinary student, or, a little caveat here, you have a pro cook and you want to get them something that they can use while camping or barbecuing outside and they don't have to worry about, dropping a blade. It's just, it's 66 bucks. It's fantastic. Next up is actually one of my favorite knives, and it just so happens to be one of the least expensive in the lineup. This is the Tojiro Gyuto. Gyuto is basically a chef's knife, but in Japanese. So what's great about this knife is it's kind of a Western to Japanese hybrid. The handle is more Western. The blade is definitely Japanese. You got a bolster. It's got a nice feel to it. I'll be honest with you, this knife would satisfy any category. It's around 101 bucks right now, I think, on sale. It's just a great up and coming brand that I think these are going to be priced a lot more in the future. The Global G2. This is a very, very lightweight, seems petite and nimble, but you know, this is the knife that Anthony Bourdain recommended in his Kitchen Confidential book. It's around $100 right now. It is just a fantastic stainless steel knife. That is the other thing with a lot of these knives in this first category as well, is they are stainless steel and they are going to be a lot less prone to rusting or even showing any bit of a patina. They're easy to sharpen, they're easy to hone, they're just really easy knives to maintain. So this is the Global, fantastic, super, super lightweight. This is the 8-inch. They also make this in an 11-inch, but I would not get someone an 11-inch unless they are experienced with a knife, or if that is going to be used as like a slicer and it's more specialty. Okay, this is a Miyabi Koya. So many names here. This is one of our exclusive Miyabi knives that we have. This is a stainless steel blade as well. This has a Rockwell hardness, so it's the strength of the steel that's a little bit higher than some of the other ones here, but at only $120, this is just a great buy. It's got a really nice balance to it. This has a Paka wood handle as well, which is an engineered type of material. The Yaxell is a Paka wood. The Tojiro is some other type of engineered material. These things are just meant to last forever. Even the knives that look like they're wood, unless I say that it's real wood or it's some type of stabilized wood, it's generally going to be micarta, Paka wood, palm, which is what Zwilling says. Wusthof has a name for theirs. They're near indestructible. Let's just put it that way. So the Mizu here, I'm sorry, the Koya, the Mizu's next. The Koya is coming in at around $120. This is the Zwilling Pro. The Zwilling and the Wusthof. These are two iconic German knives that have been around forever. In fact, Zwilling's been around since 1731 and Wusthof was like 1850 or something like that, not too long after. They're just workhorses. You will have these knives forever, or whoever you gift them to will end up like giving them to their kids, I assure you. I actually have my mother-in-law's Wusthof that she gave to my now wife sitting right over there. The thing is 30 years old, if that. No, probably 40 years old. If that, what am I saying? So many knives to talk about here. Okay, so what's cool about the Wusthof is this is like the classic of classics. This is a full bolster, so this knife is more comfortable to hold at the handle like this than at the pinch grip. If you have a culinary school student, they're going to learn about the pinch grip. I guarantee you that they would probably prefer the more tapered, it's called demi bolster of the Zwilling, or you can get a Wusthof Classic that has a demi bolster, and it's just a bit more comfortable to hold when you're pinching the base of the blade like this and going at it. That is how you're supposed to be holding a chef's knife. The Zwilling right now is somewhere around $130, and the Wustofs, they're $170, but they go on sale a lot, so you can generally find one that's at a decent price. The other thing with the Wusthof is this is the blueberry. You've got the classic black I just picked up. We've got plum, peach, there's a white handle, there's an oyster, a velvet something. I can't keep track of all the names of the colors. To me, it's like grayish, pink, light pink, reddish, peach, blue, kind of purplish. So what's cool about the Classic series is that you can get these with the full bolster and you can match your friend or family member's kitchen with either a single knife or even a whole set. Okay, talk about a rough edit. So I wake up at 3 a.m. having that oh crap moment. I totally forgot to talk about the Mac Pro Mighty, as well as the brand new Global Model X chef's knife. And today is supposed to be an editing and B-roll day, so I'm not even going to try and make it look like, you know, this got edited in by doing my laundry and putting the same shirt on and all that. So let's just get right back into this. You know why? It's because I picked up the Zwilling and then I picked up the Wusthof, and the Wusthof went down there and then the other two were next. So here we go. All right, first is the Mac Mighty. This is an amazing knife. The price point is around $140. And it's a German-Japanese type of hybrid. You've got that more Western-style German knife handle with the Japanese blade with the hollows on the side. And those hollows, which are unique to all the other knives here, they minimize wet product like tomato, cucumber, potato from sticking to the knife as easily, and it makes them come off much easier. The sashimi finish of some of these blades, like you'll see shortly after this, do a similar type of thing. The Mac Mighty, what's really cool about this knife is it's trendy right now because this was shown on the show The Bear by the main character, the chef on there. Great knife. One thing I will say to look out for is if you think that you're gonna, you know, skip the cutleryandmore.com site and try and go on Amazon and find a better price, well, probably not gonna happen. But if you do, you might end up finding yourself getting a knockoff. I have an entire video about the counterfeit crap that's happening with the Mac Mighty here. It's trending, so people are trying to take advantage of that, and you will get a knockoff knife, and you can check out that video. It's posted a couple weeks ago. Anyway, great, hard, Japanese steel, but easy to maintain, stainless steel. That's that. It's trendy. It's cool. To be honest with you, this knife belongs to be in this category as well because of the Mac name. It's just one of those things that chefs, I don't know, it's a flex, I guess. Okay, next up, I already showed you moments ago, yesterday, the Global G2. This is the Global Model X. Brand new, exclusive global series that we have at Cutlery and More. The spine is twice as thick. The handle is longer. The bolster flares out in a much more dominant way, so you get a really nice grip at the pinch grip here. This is 3 ounces, so about 40% heavier in weight. I have this knife in this category because its normal price is $160. It's under the $200 mark. It's stainless steel. It's got a 56 to 58 Rockwell. So it belongs in this category in the sense of price and how easy it is to maintain. But where this kind of separates itself and might fall into maybe this category or maybe more specialty would be for someone you know that they like big, thick, heavy, girthy knives. If you have someone that they've already got like a Wusthof Classic, they obviously like a little bit fuller body blade, this is a really cool gift. If you have someone who honestly falls into any of the, actually, yeah, okay, this can go anywhere, I'll be honest with you. This may be the knife to get someone if they already have some knives, but they're still kind of in this area, or it fits your budget, or you just want to get a really unique knife for someone from a brand that's been around forever. Anthony Bourdain from Kitchen Confidential recommended global knives, the G2, and so this is just unique. That's it. So does it belong here? I don't know. You decide. If you like this big thing, you're gonna get it for someone else that also likes big things, whatever. Okay, back to the Enso. Next up, we have the Enso HD Chef's Knife. This is an exclusive line that we have here at Cutlery and More. Not just an exclusive line like the Miyabi that I showed you. This is just an exclusive brand to Cutlery and More. This is a phenomenal Japanese chef's knife. It is made by Yaxell, which is the first one that I showed you, but this is a bit higher up right now. The Enso is going for $150. This has Damascus layers, a hammered finish. It looks beautiful. It has the micarta handle that's gonna last forever. This is more Japanese leaning, but there's a little bit of a Western vibe to it because of the bulkier handle that this has. And the Rockwell hardness of this is around 60-61, is made from VG10 steel. So in the lineup of steels that we have here, the Miyabi and the Enso here would be on the harder end. Therefore, they do require a little bit more TLC than, say, you know, the Tojiro, the Global, or even the Mac. Next up, we have the Shun. Looks like Shun, but it's Shun. This is their Premier right now. This is coming in at $160. So in this first wave of knives, this is on the higher end here. The Shun has Damascus layers as well as the hammered, or what's called Tsushima finish. It's got a bolster. The handle of the Shun is, did I just say Shun earlier? I think I may have. Shun. I said Shun for years because no one corrected me. Like not even Sur La Table where I bought my first one. They just said, oh yeah, Shun. It's Shun. Anyway, this has a real girthy handle to it. It's much larger than almost every handle that I have here, except for maybe these Kramers and that Japanese Chukobocho, which is a Chinese cleaver. So something to bear in mind, handle size, a big handle can work very well for someone with petite hands, but sometimes not. So that's just something you have to consider when you are gift giving. Okay, so that first category, everything was under $200 and started as low as 66 bucks with the Yaxell. Again, these knives are going to be great for culinary students, someone who's just getting into cooking, or the pro that you know that needs a beater knife. I hate to say it like that because they're not like, none of these are bad knives at all, but they're not super expensive. So as a gift, you know, if you drop the Tojiro or the Global compared to dropping the Nigara, it's a little bit different of an experience. Next up, we have the $200 to $300 price point. And all of these knives are going to have a steel that is harder or a steel that requires more maintenance. And you're also getting into some fancier designs, more Damascus, hand forging. Basically, these are going to be for current chefs, proficient home cooks, and people who you know they at least already have some knives in their house. You just maybe want to help level up a little bit. The first two that I have here are hand forged. This one is the Matsubara Gyuto, and this is Takayuki. Both of these Gyuto, so Japanese chef's knives, are a little bit bigger than the other ones that I showed, which were around 8 inches. Actually, almost everything here is 8 inches, except for these two are around 9.5 inches. And with these, the type of blades, they will rust. If they don't rust, they will at least patina, so they will start to change colors at the edge or even throughout the entire body. You can even see maybe a little reflection there where along the edge there's a little bit of discoloration. That's just part of the knife that is evolving. It's got a personality and it's going to continue to change. Both of these knives, because they're a little bit longer, are blade heavy. They've got pretty thick spines. They're very traditional Japanese knives. These are going to be for someone who maybe is pretty good with a German style knife. They've got good knife skills. You've been at their house for the barbecue. You know they work in a restaurant. You've seen them blaze through an onion, and you want to get them something that doesn't completely break the bank. It will be cool to their lineup of knives to have in their kit, but it's going to require a little bit extra TLC. Next up, this is another Miyabi exclusive. This is the Mizu. This is coming in at, right now, $180. And the reason I have it here is because over here, even though it's under 200, this has what's called SG2 stainless steel. This has a 63 Rockwell, whereas everything over here is between 56 to about 61. So this brings it up a notch. This is the blade that if you catch on a chicken bone and you torque it weird, you could end up literally cracking or breaking the edge. Yes, it's very hard when being used the right way, but these are not meant to be torqued and twisted. So that type of steel you don't want to put into the hands of someone who doesn't know how to use a knife properly, so they don't have a lot of experience or has no clue about the harder Japanese steels, because what's going to happen is they're going to end up chipping this within a couple of weeks. I can almost guarantee it. And they're going to think there's something wrong with the gift that you got them, not the fact that it just requires a different type of care. Next up, we have the Enso SG2. This is our in-house line. Same steel as the Miyabi Mizu here. This has 101 layers of Damascus, a micarta handle. There's this beautiful mosaic pin, red inlays. It's just a nice looking knife. It is stainless steel, so this is going to be easier to maintain in this compared to these ones here. You don't have to worry about rusting or a patina, and it's just a nice looking blade. It's a flashy blade. You go to someone's house and they got this blade sitting on their cutting board, you're gonna notice it. They're gonna notice it. We're all gonna notice it. And the Enso right now is coming in at $240. I don't know why I don't just bring my cheat sheet out. I don't know, maybe it looks a little, whatever. We'll leave it right there. That pile is good for now. Okay, next up, this is another Shun. This is an exclusive line that we have with Shun. This is called the Shiranami. This blade is beautiful. They call it their dual core. This is one of the original dual cores that I have back here. We have another line that has the dual core type of pattern. The reason I have this one here coming in at $230 is because the handle is very unique. The bolster, the way this comes down and flares out, this has a German Western style girthier type of handle without the weight. The balance here is quite nice. The balance of a knife honestly means nothing in the sense of its quality. It's all personal preference. But some people like a perfectly balanced knife. This is blade heavy. I absolutely love it. I've got other ones that are handle heavy that I absolutely love. So I say that kind of just out of habit of doing these videos. Back to the blade. This is VG10 and VG2 alternating through the Damascus pattern here. The blade is so incredibly thin and sharp and precise. It is just, it's flashy because, well, it's flashy and it's fantastic. It's just a really cool knife. And this hunter greenish ocean blue turquoise handle with that burlap micarta vibe to it is, it's just a cool color. So if you know someone that has got some experience with a knife, can handle a Japanese blade, and that is going to match their kitchen or their personality, then go for it. This is the Wusthof Amici. Very similar to the Classic. One of the big differences is the shape of the tip of the blade. This kind of curves up a bit more. And this is made with real wood. These are real wood as well. I didn't mention that. This is white oak, a burnt white oak. And then I honestly can't remember what that one is. It'll be linked. You'll be able to read all about it. That is the Takayuki if you were wanting a little memory jogger. Wusthof Amici. This is Calabrian olive wood. It's just, you can feel the warmth of real wood on a knife. Don't mind my little handle here so I don't get fingerprints all over the blade, which that one already does. Anyway, so it feels amazing. Who's this knife for? Coming in at $300. It's for the Wusthof lovers. If you have a friend or family member, they love their Wusthof knives, even if they love their Zwilling. They're just a fan of the German, you know, you come in and you see their set and they've got all that, the same black handle with the rivets that are coming up. I'm telling you, they will absolutely love this blade. If you have someone also that enjoys the natural tones of the trees throughout their house and they like wood block, wood shelving, you know, they've got a big, I don't know, they just like wood everywhere. It's just a beautiful handle. 300 bucks, they'll enjoy it. Speaking of beautiful wood, this is the Birchwood by Miyabi. This is one of their most popular knives. I can't even remember, I think it's 132 layers of Damascus. This is also SG2 stainless steel, similar to the SG2 Enso and the Mizu. This is just a beautiful knife. It really is. It's very lightweight and nimble. It actually is probably one of the lighter knives that I picked up here. It's right there, maybe it's a little bit heavier than this Global. It's just a good feeling knife. Again, you feel that natural wood. You've got the red inlays, kanji at the butt of the knife, the mosaic pin, stunning. Also coming in at $300. So this is the category for those who have knives, they've got a good bit of experience, they're currently working in a restaurant, or they're just that badass barbecuing home cook that whips up meals for everyone and you actually look forward to leftovers at their house that they give you instead of them just trying to like get rid of the leftovers because they don't even want them. There's someone in my neighborhood that's like that. They're probably not watching, but anyway. Okay, the next category of knives. This is where we're getting in that $300 to $600-700 range, depending on what you choose. These knives are because you've got a ton of money and you're getting it for someone because it's a real special gift, or they're a collector and you want to get them something to make their jaw drop, or honestly, even if you don't have, you know, billions of dollars to throw around, you just want to get a really meaningful gift for someone, and maybe just one thing instead of a bunch of tiny little things because you don't like that, I don't like that, they probably don't like that, and they'd rather have one of these super badass knives. Okay, first up is the Wusthof Performer coming in at $350. This is an incredibly unique knife. The coating on here, the handle, I mean, to be honest with you, it's the exact same blade, the exact same metal as the Classic over here at $170, but this has, I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head, the coating that they put on here, but it's really easy to clean. Things just come right off of it, and the handle is very grippy. It's got this like honeycomb matte type of vibe to it, and it is super grippy. If your hand's wet, even oily, it ain't going nowhere. So who's this knife for? Well, it's for people who love badass video games. I mean, look at it. It's just, it looks like something that Master Chief from Halo would cook with. It's for your Wusthof lovers, and it's for someone who their personality or their interest would match this. I think about my dad on his Harley. I think about me many years ago with my black turbocharged WRX. It's just a cool knife. So I'm not really that cool now, but I was maybe a little cool then, but match it to someone that this knife matches them. I would say more them than their kitchen, to be honest with you. Okay, next up, I have two different Kramers. This is the Carbon, which is coming in at, I don't think I wrote that one down. I think it's like $300 or $400. And then we've got, oh wait, yeah. So the Carbon is $300 and then the Cumulus is $400. This is a carbon steel blade. What's important to note about the Carbon here is that this is high carbon steel. It looks like stainless steel, but this can rust and patina requires a lot of care. The Cumulus here is just a stunning blade, this full-bodied handle. I mean, it's stunning. A very different vibe to the feel of this blade, which is the same thing for the Zwilling Tanrei. Zwilling makes both the Kramer as well as the Tanrei here, but I'll get to that in a second. This is for someone who has exquisite knife skills and someone who really likes to get a little bit flashy. I remember the first fancy chef's knife that I ever saw, it was this. And I was just, my mind was blown. He was a Navy and then corporate chef. I forget who he worked for. I was at his high-rise apartment in downtown Chicago, right outside of Millennial Park, and the views were beautiful, and the knife was even more stunning, and the food he prepared was exquisite. So yeah, just think that. All right, the Tanrei, this is an exclusive we have at Cutlery and More. Very similar. The Tanrei is coming in at $227, so quite a bit less expensive than the Bob Kramer. The Bob Kramer knives, they're just the way they come packaged. It's kind of like when you open up a new iPhone or an iPad, it's just got that type of vibe to it. The Tanrei comes packaged in a nice box. It is well put together. This is like just ridiculously awesome the way it's done. Same Damascus wood handle. It's a great knife. Still, even at $227 versus $400, it's for a very particular type of person. When I said there's a different vibe to the way these things feel, the matte-like textured Damascus finish, it grips differently into product. With that, you need to have someone who is experienced in using different types of knives so that when they do feel that, they're able to impulsively, act accordingly. Let's just put it that way, so they don't go slicing themselves. Okay. I love Yoshikane. Yoshikane, just a stunning, stunning knife. There's several I have here. I love them. This is the 8 or so inch Gyuto, which is coming in at $287. Now, this does have some stainless cladding, but at the edge here, this will definitely patina, potentially rust. You got a real natural wood, lightly lacquered handle that is just about as traditional as it gets. Very similar to the other ones that I showed you here with the Kurochi finish, this black finish, but because it's a little bit more refined, you're getting a higher end product that's going to cost more just because of the amount of labor that goes into it. Absolutely stunning knife. I can't imagine that anyone would not just love you even more for getting you getting them this knife. Okay, next up, another Yoshikane. This is an extra tall, and what's interesting here is this one I've used a few times. You can see that in the top pear skin type of finish here, there's some patina action happening here. The extra tall has a stabilized birch handle. It's absolutely stunning with this like ash type of dye. Gosh, I love these two knives. Can you tell I may have some favorites? And this is coming in at over $500. There are a bunch of Yoshikane knives on our site, and they're really gonna vary from that mid to all the way up. In fact, this utility here is $260, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The next two are from Nigara, Nigara. Their knives are jaw droppers. Some of the bluish turquoise handles with copper and brass gold tones and more natural wood to these beautiful different shaped hammered sashimi finish. I mean, they're absolutely stunning. This is a K-tip Gyuto, so this is your traditional Gyuto. You cut the tip off there. They call it a K-tip or Kuritsuke Gyuto. Anything by Yoshikane, by Nigara, by the Zwilling Tanrei. I mean, all of these are showstoppers. If you look at the pattern in this, it's almost got this like psychedelic vibe to the different Damascus layers there. You're at 400 plus, you can get up to over 1,000 for these knives. The thing about it is, if you're gonna get one of these knives in this category for anyone, you want them to use it. If you're gonna get someone a pretty looking knife and you think that they're just gonna put it up on a shelf and stare at it, I don't know, stick to something over here. These knives, as beautiful as they are meant to be put to work. They're also meant to be taken care of. So after you cut up your tomato, what do? You wipe down the blade. When you're getting your onion out, boom, 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 boom. After you're done cutting your onion, what do? You wipe off the blade. When I use these knives, the Yoshikane, they live in my block downstairs, I am wiping them down and cleaning them 10 plus 15 times while I'm prepping just an everyday dinner. So just keep that in mind. These are not trophies to be just set aside. They are workhorses. They're just fancy little horses. So make sure whoever you get them for, that they understand that going into it, and you maybe tell them that, like, use it. It's a beautiful knife. I want you to use this $500 gift. Okay, so the super expensive category, 300 to, you could spend as much as you want. It's really up to you. Keep in mind, they require a lot of maintenance. They require someone who knows how to sharpen a knife properly using whetstones like these. So maybe you kind of dig a little when you're talking to someone before you get them. Even one of the mid-range here, like, oh, who sharpens your knives? And they're like, oh, I do it. They're qualified. Over here, you can send this off to anyone and have these sharpened and you're in good shape, or you can practice on your own. But these, you want to have experience sharpening knives, or you want to send them to a professional sharpener that you can definitely vouch for. Okay. Whew. I talk a lot. Next category is going to be prep knives or utility knives. Sometimes they're also labeled as petty knives. It depends on the length of the knife. So all I showed you so far were chef's knives. They're Japanese and German or Western style chef's knives, gyutos. That's that. Prep knives. They're the next best knife in my opinion. And so many chefs that I know, that I'm friends with, absolutely love prep knives, utility knives, petty knives, whatever you like to call it. So let's just kind of start basic. This is a Zwilling. They market this as a rocking Santoku. I have no idea why. There is nothing Santoku-ish about this. I'm just keeping all these mess ups in because this is a long video and I'm just trying to get the information out there. This doesn't have to be, you know, like 10 cuts to be able to say Santoku. Anyway, I don't know why they call it a rocking Santoku, but they do. To me, this is a prep knife. It's a utility knife. It's, if anything, if you want to get technical, this is a curved Santoku K-tip. I don't know. Let's just call it the rocking Santoku. It's 50 bucks right now. You could get this for anyone. It doesn't matter where they fall. We just love, chefs love knives like this. They're great. This is the Koya, another exclusive Miyabi that we have. What's great about these two and some of the others that I'll show you is you get some space at the heel here, the choil, so that you can use these in a tap or a push chop on your cutting board without your fingers gouging into the board like this. There's no space. There's nothing wrong with that knife, but in the world of prep utility, I love that little bit of space there. Okay. Whew. Okay. This is the Tanrei. I showed you this one over here. So if you want to get someone a set or a matching set, fantastic. Shun, quite a few Shuns in this lineup here. This used to be marketed as the Honeski, which looks like Honsuki. Now they just call it a prep knife or an Asian utility. I can't remember exactly. Like Wusthof, they call this an Asian prep knife. Very similar style. They're Honeskis, Honsukis. You get the space, decent size blade. Traditionally, this style was a boning knife. Well, it still is in Japan, but here a lot of people don't use them for deboning chickens. They use them to like slice up an apple for their kid. It's just the reality. Oh, never mind. I prepped many of, let's put it this way. I could prep an entire Thanksgiving dinner with this knife. That's it. I love prep knives, so disregard the apple comment. But a lot of people are just cutting up apples, which is fine because you need a good knife to cut up your apples. So great, great knife. That's got Damascus layers, wood handle. It's just awesome. The Wusthof, I think this is like $60, $80, something like that. This is another Shun. I think they put this under their boning knife, but it basically is a utility knife or a prep knife as well. This one's got a little bit of wiggle to it, which is also nice. This is around that high 100s, almost 200 mark. I'm gonna save, well, yeah, Tojiro. I showed you this as the second knife. You can get this in a 3-piece, I believe, on the site for like 200 bucks. You can get the 8-inch chefs, the 5-some inch utility, and then a little petty or a paring knife, which is like 4 inches or something like that. This is 80 bucks, normal price. I think it's on sale right now, so it's probably even less than that. This duo, for any category, is an awesome gift. And it's 2 knives for less than what one of these costs for the most part. I'm a big fan of the Tojiro. The Enso Prep / bunka, technically a kobunka. So it is the little bunka, the baby bunka. Great space here for your fingers. You could, again, prep an entire meal with just this. You can get a good tap, a good push. You can also get a nice little rock chop in here. These are all like 40% off. I can't even remember. I think it's around that like $80 mark as well. Awesome. Here's another Shun, the Shiranami Master Utility. This is kind of like a chef's Nikiri bunka utility hybrid. It's around $200, maybe even $220. It is, well, you heard me talk about this Shiranami. This one is awesome. I would say of all the utilities I have here, this is the most unique. It's also the biggest. So you're kind of like, do I get them a chef's knife? Do I get them a utility knife? Or do I get this really unique looking hybrid? This I would put up there with more advanced. You know, think of it this way, if it's over $200, it's this category equivalent, because the reality is the difference in cost of making this knife versus this knife, it's minimal, because that little bit of extra steel is not where your cost is at, it's the labor, and the labor involved to make this and that, it's not much different, which is why you can see like this Yoshikane, which I love, this lives in my knife block downstairs, this is $260. Versus, what did I say this one was? $287. So size doesn't dictate the price. It is the steel, the wood, the types of finishes, and the labor that goes into these. So petty knives, utility knives, prep knives. Honestly, if you want to get someone a decent prep knife, you're looking around that 100, 150 mark. Anything above that is going to be in this category or this category, in the sense of like, you're not giving it to a noob, okay? I've got 2 different Wustofs here. This, I think that they market this as the boning knife. It's got some flexibility to it. Again, you can put this in that prep utility hybrid. Both great, great, great knives. And the Enso. I'll just say ditto. It's another Enso. This is the VG10 steel. It's got a good length. The differences with these, like I just showed you, they don't really have much space in the sense of for your knuckles. This Yoshikane has just enough because you can have it up on a little bit of an angle and your knuckles aren't banging, but these are just basic utility knives. Really the difference, I could separate these, is like prep would be, you can prep an entire meal with this because of the size and the shape, versus utility is more of, you're not making an entire meal with this, you're just doing some basic stuff. I don't know, you're cutting some string, or you just need to slice up something quick like an apple. Man, I'm talking crap on apples. I'm really not though. I'm not. I like apples. I just ate I ate 2 today, I think. Okay. Whew. We're almost done. Last category is going to be specialty knives, where you want to get someone something that already has plenty of this stuff. They've already got some higher end, and you just want to get them a thoughtful gift because you know how they cook at home. Let's get started with the big beast here. This is a chukabocho, which translates to Chinese cleaver in Japanese. Believe it or not, this is not a meat cleaver. You do not use this to hack away at bones or frozen food or anything like that. This is a Japanese chef's knife that is used just like all of these. The blade is ridiculously thin and sharp. This is meant for everyday prep. You've got fruits and vegetables, no apple seeds. I'm bringing apples up a lot. You hit an apple seed with this, you twist it weird. No bueno. Carbon steel, so this is going to patina. As you can see, it's got a little bit of character coming around already. This is just a very classic, Japanese, Chinese cleaver. It's also a $500 blade. This is for someone who's got it all and you just want to blow their minds away with a really, really cool gift. Okay. In the sense of specialty, there's really not a specialty here. It's a prep knife. It's just a more specialty shape because it's a cleaver. Okay, you got someone who got deep into making their own sourdough starters. They love making their own bread. This is an Opinel. This knife is, where are we at here? I looked it up earlier. I don't have it on my list. It's like around 200 bucks. It is a natural wood, full tang, beautiful serrated knife. This is serrated because the little serrations come to a point. They're not scalloped with like little U's coming down. So this is meant to dig into bread. You can use this for the bark of like a brisket and barbecue and whatnot, but this is definitely more of a traditional bread knife. So for your sourdough lovers, that's a good one. Okay, I just showed you the serrated. Here is a scallop blade. This is a Wusthof sandwich knife. This is like the pro mom dad sandwich making knife. It's very sharp. It will easily cut through bread, but you've got this big rounded tip that's not pointed, so you can scoop in and grab some peanut butter or some jam or jelly or some mayo, your Dijon, boop, get on your sandwich, and then cut said sandwich. It's just a really cool knife, and I think it's under 100 bucks or around $100. Awesome. The next two are for your meat lovers, okay? This is a Shun curved boning knife. This is a beast. Enso makes one as well. The Enso is a bit thinner. This has got a little bit more of a fuller body handle, which is kind of how the Shun knives go. So when you are breaking down and trimming up a brisket, this is amazing. The curvature to it makes it better than a normal boning knife when you are working with real flat, large cuts of meat like a brisket. Getting that top area trimmed can be a real pain, so that curvature just allows you to get a different flow. So anyone you know that just absolutely loves barbecue, and if you ever want to test that out, or just, you're not sure how much they're into it, just ask them if they've ever watched or heard of Franklin Barbecue from Texas. If they've heard of that, or Terry Black's, they're into it, I can tell you. All right, next up, the meat lover as well. This is a Takayuki 11.8 inch slicer, Damascus, sashimi finished, white burnt oak handle with a light lacquer. K-tip, just an absolutely stunning slicer. This blade is so thin and beautifully tapered. When you go into something, we have a video on here about super slicers, and I saved this for last, and I go into this turkey breast, and I literally just went all the way through my entire counter here into the floor. It just, God, so good. So good. I'm gonna say this is $245. So for such an impressive looking blade, it's not that bad of a price. Pretty cool. Okay, the last one I have to show you here is, you guessed it, another Yoshikane. I've used this one quite a bit. You can see we've got a decent amount of patina on the blade as well as the top finish here. This is called a bunka, B-U-N-K-A. These are becoming very popular here in the States. It's kind of like a santoku where someone just cut the tip off of. So instead of this being nice and rounded, it's got that hard angle, reverse tanto tip. This Yoshikane is in that $250, $300 mark, very similar to the other ones that I showed you here. It's just a cool style knife that, like I said, is becoming more popular. But it's not just the look, it's how you can use this tip. This is for people who have pretty decent to like really good knife skills where they can use the tip of this knife in their favor. For example, let's say that you want to really quickly tap chop some garlic as thin as possible. This tip, because of the way it's shaped, you get less surface contact in there, it's lightweight, and you can get in and out of there in no time. Boom, done. It's like a razor blade because of this tip. Also, for more intricate knife work where you're coming at things on an angle, if you're doing like a paysan pepper, which is where you're flaying out the flesh of the pepper and making these fancy shapes. Yeah, I mean, you can get bunkas for, like, this is the baby bunka, the ko bunka. You can get a bunka in the price range of, you know, $100 in the Yaxell line, in the Enso line, in the $150. I mean, most of these brands have a bunka. So think of this as, it's not necessarily the Yoshikane, it's the shape. You could do this for any one of these. So you have a newer culinary student and you know they got their knife kit from school, but you want to get them something pretty neat looking, boom, a bunka. It's just a cool knife. So that is the last category of their specialty knives, or it's just cool. I wouldn't put this in the specialty like the slicer or the bread knife or the Chinese cleaver or the sandwich or the curve. These knives can do pretty much everything this can do. It's just a different shape and it's cool. That's it. Okay. I think I've just said about 7 billion words in this video. And I should probably just end there. Every single knife is going to be linked in the description. If you have any questions, if there's anything that I didn't cover, just let us know in the comments. I will do my best to respond to you with not just like an idea like, hey, get a bunka, but I'll try and give you an example within the price range of what you're looking for. So if you have questions and I don't have it covered here, then all I want you to do is say, hey, I'm looking to get this person a knife. I've got this type of budget and I know they like, I don't know, turquoise. I'm like, well, then you want to get the Nigara that costs like $600-700. One of my cameras just shut off on me. Hang tight. Flopping my jaw so much, I filled up my memory card. So we'll kind of blend this to turquoise. You're going to get them the Nigara because you told me you have a $700 budget and you're looking to impress. So yeah, that's it. But if you only got like a $70 budget, I don't care. Let me know in the comments and I'll do my best throughout the next couple of weeks here. And hell, even if you see this and it's like mid-July, that's what we're here for. We want to help out and make sure that you get the knife that you need, but also you get the knife that someone else wants as a gift and they are capable of taking care of. That's a big thing. It's not all looks, because you can get someone a really expensive knife And if they torque it weird or they don't clean it off and now it's rusty and chipped, they're not going to enjoy it. So that's why it's not all about spending a certain dollar amount. It's about your budget, but also more who you're getting the knife for, what type of skill set do they have, where are they at in their cooking or chef journey. And I'll leave it at that. I'm Chef Brandon with Cutlery and More. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and do all that jazz that you do on YouTube, and comment with any questions that you have. Take care. Whew. I need a beer.